Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. It's once again time for the WADcast, episode number 148. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined with me, as always, by the hat guy, I guess.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Got Brandon here. Happy Friday night. It's a good night to be back. It's been a few weeks here. We took a little bit longer than we anticipated off of our show. We've had some severe technical difficulties, but the last show that we had was with the trivia night. Yeah, with Sam. So it's been a few weeks already. Almost, I actually want to say like on the precipice of being like a full month without being on the show.
So let's get this open the right way then. Refer to me as Le Champion.
Oh yeah, that's right. Josh has his ego at an all-time high because he's won 2 trivia nights back to back. So, but I'm sorry, Le Champion.
I beat you.
Yeah, because you played it safe. If you didn't play it safe, you actually bet some points. I would have still had your ass in like a sling.
Yeah, that's right.
But
if I would have played it stupid, I would have lost.
Yep,
but
that's
since
why
I played it not stupid,
The thing is my answer was not even that far off. That's the thing that pisses me off. Like it really was not that far off at all. So, excuse me. But no, it's But yeah, it's been like it's been a couple weeks here. So and we've been trying to figure out things that have gone down in the entertainment industry that are really worth talking about. And I said I was going to make a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, but I decided not to because the woman is a walking butt of her own existence. So I would just feel like I was picking on like that Black Knight from Monty Python, the Holy Grail, after he had his limbs chopped off.
It is a flesh wound.
Like she's already injured herself, and like like what Chris Rock said. She hurt Will Smith way worse than he hurt Chris Rock. I'll tell you right now, she's hurting herself way worse than anyone else ever could. She's making fun of herself harder than anyone ever could. So, but no. So we have. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a very long show tonight. I currently have 2 house guests, and in my office here, I would show you, but I cannot because of lack of space. What I can do maybe is this. I'll tilt this down just a little bit. There we go. And ouch. That, ladies and gentlemen, is an air mattress on the floor of my office, where my baby sister and her wife, Samantha, my sister, and her wife, Nicole, are currently staying for the weekend. So they're currently out. I think they were exploring LA today, West Hollywood. They went down to the Chinese theater and they want to go see like the Hollywood sign, but they got like to see a distant version of it. So they're going to show up at some point tonight. Since I have not seen her in about a year, I'm probably going to it's going to be a very short show when they show up, so I can actually go ahead and do the family thing. More importantly, do the big brother thing, because that's the most important thing. Is if you're like a good sibling, role model, master meme maker.
Right.
Amazing Ghostbusters fan.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
No.
Oh, that's you don't know about this, but I'm already working on our next head-to-head competition. Not questions wise, because I have no control over what questions are asked, but I do think we should go a little more specific than just broad. Writers, actors, directors. We should, focus on something and be able to answer questions about specific things.
Okay.
Because even though we host the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast, we still had more than 1 or 2 issues, coming up with some of the answers, especially as it relates to screenwriters. Who, by the way, are back to work. So
yeah, now we're just waiting for the actors to get back to work. But hopefully they're close in being done with their negotiations. But I don't see that happening right away. The writers, and they got good deals too. They got a really good deal with their with everything. I had shit. You know what? It's one of the ones I closed my laptop. I don't think I saved it. It was like a whole list, like an itemized list of what they received. so I could actually have the talking points to go down. But let me see if I can pull this up on my phone, because it was a really good deal. They really, I mean, they put a stranglehold on the industry. You know, like people that do not understand the point of these strikes, which still eludes me that people do not understand why these strikes happen. And they keep saying the same thing, like, oh, they should get back to work, they're overpaid, blah blah blah. Like, even professional screenwriters with steady work, they don't make that much money. They're not rich people. Like, it's like blue collar work for the most part. But like with any industry, you have that top tier, like, percentage that are overpaid, that are very highly overpaid most times.
I mean,
Sorry for the
overpaid.
Yes, if you're a screenwriter and you're making like a few million a year, I think that you are usually overpaid. I have read some of the scripts and some of the writing samples from these people, and it's not exactly anything different than what I've seen of the lower level tier screenwriters making or writing.
Right, but
and it's not original.
It's not about, quality so much as return on investment.
Oh no, I understand that. Don't give me. No, I do understand that, but it's just like there's nothing spectacular about them at all. These, like, most of these higher screenwriters. Now you have, you have like the Nolans, right? Like, they are pretty talented writers, both of them.
Yeah.
You have a few highly talented writers, but there are people that make more than them in screenwriting.
Yeah.
And it's only a handful. It's like such a small amount, but it's like, when my point is that people misconstrue how much the writers and actors actually make in Hollywood. They clearly are very uninformed as to why these strikes, happened and why they had to happen. But sorry, 1 second. Let me see.
Super enticing for all of you wonderful folks that have downloaded this show and are
listening
to
it's
deafening silence.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. I'm trying to pull this up here. It's
That's what she said.
This strike just ended in late September, if I remember right. I'm trying to see exactly which, because I had an article, but the article that I actually had to make a breakdown list to simplify what it was saying, but I can do that on the whim. When do I see this? Here it is right here, I think. Okay, so first off, they got residuals from Netflix. Netflix wasn't paying residuals.
It's because they don't report their numbers to anybody.
Yeah. So it's just like, but it says here, I'm just going to read the quick intro to this. But this is from an article from CBSNews.com. There's a few others that cover the same thing. So I want to hear any of our far right leaning friends that listen to our show be like, oh, that's CBS. You should get a real source. It's entertainment, guys. They're not trying to do anything political. So shut the hell up. Just in case you're going to say that. So
they're going to say that.
Well, the deep state. So according to WGA, this will one of the parts of this strike will increase the residuals from Netflix from $18,684 to $32,830 for a single hour-long episode. Now, that is not. That doesn't mean that every writer is going to make almost $32,000. That's not what that says. So just. But either way, it's saying writers will also receive a viewership-based streaming bonus, which is great. That means that there's going to be transparency. That's a good thing. That's what these streaming services were not doing. You know, back in the days when we just had cable or satellite, I guess analog television with the antennas and all that stuff. You could track the viewership in numbers. That's how you could actually
things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So you could track these things. So now with streaming, the streaming companies can track them. They have teams that can track them, but the streaming companies were like, oh, well, it's a lot. We don't know. They know.
No, they know
They-
exactly.
Yeah,
Because
they.
you hear them, you see them release press releases that are like,
Oh, I know.
you know,
I know.
the Stranger Things has been streamed for 100 million hours by 5 billion people, and then the writers are like, so we did good, yeah, and they're like,
Well, we're not too sure.
no.
These aren't exact numbers. These streaming services are like little children that kind of telling themselves for breaking a dish or breaking a window. It's like, oh yeah, look, we threw a baseball through the window there. Oh my god, that was you. It might not have been me. I'm not too sure.
We're not allowed to commit to an answer. So,
oh man.
and who's to say the writing is what brings people to the shows to begin with?
But you know what I respect about these writers is that these guys, and listen, you guys don't like, for those of you that are not familiar with how the industry works, as a former member of the WGA, I'll tell you right now, it is exhausting. And I was not a highly sought after writer. I used my pen name on a few things. That's largely how I got jobs. I didn't really want to put Brandon D. Junk on my on my screenplays.
You used your pseudonym, Will Hung, but after that American Idol audition, you couldn't use that anymore.
Well, it was Lars G. Cock. Lars G. Cock. No, that didn't follow. That was a bad attempt. Either way, so moving on. But yeah, after almost like 150 days, though, these guys, they were struggling, and now not the top tier ones. Those guys are doing fine. They're still doing fine, but the ones that relied on work on television, and they're still suffering. They're still hurting because now you have the SAG that's still in strike right now. So you still have writers in the WGA who are not working. So it may have ended. It hasn't ended. The strike has ended. The unemployment has not. But hopefully, what this means, what they should do. Now, Netflix would no streaming service would ever do this, and I don't think it really would be legal because it was a new deal. But me personally, what I think should happen is if you wrote anything for a TV series on Netflix, they should have to dig back in their archives to find out how many hours, or how many people viewed these, how many hours it was viewed and everything else, and pay the writers accordingly, dating back to when these shows came on Netflix. If they were taken off Netflix, then you need to go back to look at these shows, the viewerships and everything else, and see how much they made from the time it came on Netflix to the time it left Netflix. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if it's something they can do, so I'm not going to try to talk out my ass and say they can. But I'm just saying this. I think that would be something. I'm sure there's a record somewhere of how many.
There's definitely a record, but
so
legally speaking,
they're not going to do it.
They can only use the current deal moving forward.
No, I know. I'm just saying, me personally, I think that that's what should be done. Just because it's fair. For a while, you've been getting pretty much labor for pennies on the dollar compared to what the larger studios were paying for decades to pay writers.
And going back to Stranger Things as the example, can you imagine though
that show
being a writer on that show?
Oh, dude,
and then
seriously,
this new deal comes in, and you're like, but we're only getting the deal for one season because it's over now.
Well, I mean, no, there's another season coming.
Yeah, it's half the season. That's all that's left.
I'm just saying it's still coming.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of people.
Has the one left.
But there's a lot of people though. I'm sorry to cut you off, Josh. There's a lot of people though that especially if it's like a year between seasons, there are people that will binge an entire series, and there's not just a few. There's millions of people that will binge an entire series, and Stranger Things still has a large following. There's still Stranger Things shit all over the place. It's a Stranger Things store, for Christ's sake, that's always packed down Hollywood. Hopefully these masses will watch these shows, and these writers will finally get what they're worth. Now, I think Stranger Things is overrated. I never really got into it. I don't understand, but it wasn't made for me. It wasn't made for people of our age. Josh, at the same time, I think it kind of was. It takes place in the 80s. but it's
definitely an
largely like, you know, a
homage to
kid
our
kind of.
childhoods and the things that we watched when we were kids.
Yes.
Kids in peril.
Yeah, like
That's
really
how
it's
we
more of an
grew up.
homage to. Yeah. So it's just like
Steven
it's more of an
Spielberg.
homage, I want to say, to our previous generation. It's more of an homage to Generation X than it is to
Yeah,
millennials.
kinda, yeah.
Because that's very much Generation X territory. The whole like being kids and early teens in like the 1980s. That was all Generation X. That was not us.
But we
But the
watched
thing is oh yeah, no, we still lived through it. We were like the okay, I think in one of the first few episodes, there's a scene where you have like that lifeguard with a mullet and a mustache that worked at a pool. We were the annoying kids splashing in the pool in the background. That was us. That's like the closest thing. Like that was more.
I didn't really put that in perspective before, but that was definitely.
I've been thinking of the entire time. Like now, we grew up with some of the things like the whole never-ending story scene where like the giant things chasing the kids and. Dusty, I guess his name is singing with his girlfriend through the CB radio.
Beautiful moment.
And oh no, yeah, I thought it was awesome. And you know, they actually, you know what, that kid, like the kid that plays Dusty, he's got an amazing voice. But they really killed it. I just imagine like everyone else that's around on that same frequency, just wondering like, what the hell's going on here? Like just like the guys in like over like I guess it was over in Russia, was it? How they're listening to this these kids singing "Never Ending Story," but anyway, getting back to that's what we do on the WADcast. We kind of fall off the topic a little bit here, but
that's my jam.
So, what's that?
Nothing.
Okay, so pretty much it goes down a few things here. Where let me see if I can get this. Bear with me, guys. I'm reading this little. It's a full article. It's not my talking.
I will
points.
let you scan that real quick, and I'll talk to the kids out there. So feel free to study up, and I'll say to the kids, "Hey, kids, you know what's real funny about the writers coming back and the actors not? It just means they don't have to do their scripted stuff anymore. At least they're on the surface level sitcom scripted stuff anymore." Because guess what? The writers are going to come back to write reality shows.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. I do enjoy the beard.
No video. What's up, buddy? Yeah, the oh man, old friend of mine from we've like old friend of the shows here, guys. We've had him on the show. He's a producer local to me. Someone I've known for a while now, but he's really, really cool dude. Ovidio, happy Friday, buddy. It's good to see you, bud. And your beard does look epic. Now,
it's
I don't know what I do with your Funko Pop action figure I have of you. Oh, there it is.
You can't really see it because it's dark.
So I'm going to have to
do my work in the shadows.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Josh's Funko Pop that I have here. Unfortunately underwent a little bit of a tragedy where someone was playing with his beard and the beard kind of just like went off. So are we ever going to get back to this, Josh, again? Josh, are we ever going to get back to this version? Shaved head, shaved face.
I'm gonna say though that I have made a weight loss goal for myself, right? And I'm not allowing myself to cut the beard or get a haircut until it's met.
Oh, okay. You're gonna look like Grizzly Adams for a little bit. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you're already starting. Look at you.
Man, I've got a feeling that I'm gonna be sporting a ponytail long before I'm sporting,
You know what? If I was in Florida, you and I would have like we would have like a group Halloween costume like idea for the WADcast. It would be Tucker and Dale from Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Who would I be?
You'd be obviously Tucker. I'd be Dale.
Sure. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or we could be the the guy, I never remember his name, but he was on Breaker High with Ryan Gosling.
Never saw Breaker High. I'm not too
Never
sure.
saw Breaker High?
No.
Man,
It never looked appealing.
out. I mean, it's not good, but
No, I didn't miss out on anything.
Like
you missed out. It wasn't good.
But it introduced us to a young
I love that.
Ryan Gosling.
I fucking love it. It's like, oh, you really missed out, but it wasn't good. But you missed out. No. Oh, mind you, dude. I've never really watched a whole lot of television. It's never really been a thing for me. So it's really more so just, you know, I don't know what did a video say. He said went and saw Killers of the Flower Moon last night. So oh yeah, no, I made it halfway through that movie. It's yeah. If you're nodding off, listen, Scorsese, retire, man. You've made some amazing movies. You've made some amazing movies.
I hear it's amazing.
It's not. Scorsese, dude, seriously, Mr. Scorsese. I'll put some stank on that. It's okay. I know filmmaking is there's no age cap on filmmaking. But come on, man. Like I thought you would have learned after The Irishman. It's time. It's time. Even Batman retired. It's okay. It's okay. And like, and that's of course one of the storylines.
I need to cut you off.
Okay, Kanye, go ahead.
I'm glad somebody got the reference. Comments. It's well acted and shot well, but it's boring. So it sounds like a technical achievement, if you will. Everything is done well, but much like, say, Power of the Dog, where you can see it and appreciate everybody's doing a good job. Maybe it won't be for me. Like, you have to be a very specific film appreciator.
You know, maybe Ovidio, maybe this makes sense to you, Josh. Hopefully it'll make sense to you too. Like, I want to make sure I'm saying it right. But what I noticed with films is, especially if they're like, if you can go down the list of a director's career, you can go down by like, you know, when they start and, you know, as it gets better and better and better and better and better, and it kind of starts falling off the older they get. And so I look at that as like the energy of youth into elder years, because like it's like The Irishman. Irishman wasn't exactly a horrible movie, but it's just like I'm looking at Scorsese and his directing. I'm seeing like, you know, as like, you know, Mr. Jimenez said, like the movie it's exhausting to watch. It's just boring. It's, you know, slow moving. It is well acted. It's very well acted. Do not get me wrong. The story, I'm sure, is, you know, okay, but it's one of those movies where you can see the lack of energy from the director behind it. And it's like, I feel like if the director is tired or like, you know, just like kind of like entering their I want to say golden years of directing, I think it's kind of like after you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, like you don't have the flair that you had when you were younger. Like Casino, amazing. Oh yeah, I know. 3.5 hours long. That movie is a very long movie. Like I said, I made it like roughly halfway through. I'm like, oh my god, like almost.
I mean, I personally like to go see, you know, people good at their craft chew the scenery for a while. That's one of the things I enjoy. Unfortunately, like I said, Power of the Dog has a lot of that, but and I think Jesse Plemons was in that too, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's you know, it's just really, I don't know. It's
just a whole lot of. I mean,
it becomes more about like just like okay, Casino. Casino was about dialogue, right? There was but the dialogue made Casino. A lot of the movie. Goodfellas. A lot of it was
fast-paced, though.
Yes, Goodfellas. The same way. The story just went boom, 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 boom. It just hit each point. I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking, just as like in my writer mind, I'm looking at this thinking like, this didn't need to be in here. Okay, this is stretching on way too long. This conversation's going way too long. It's like, okay, well, Scorsese's like, well, I want to get a point across. It's all about long movies these days. Like, oh, Zack Snyder did a 4-hour, like, I'm not just like, it's one of those things like where it's like, it's hard to pay attention. And it's because you drone out in these movies. I don't know if that, I don't know if you understand what I'm like. I hope that makes sense to you too, man. Like, you know, very active in the entertainment industry here. It's just one of those deals where it's like, it's so hard to follow because it's so disinteresting to follow because it stays on these points too long. You read a script as time has gone on, I'll put it this way. Like with medicine, if you're a writer, you have to keep up with your craft. You have to keep up with what the industry expects of you, especially if you're a no-name writer. It used to be your script should be no more than 120 pages, no less than like I think 110. But now there are scripts that are coming out where it's like, oh, we'll make it around like 90 pages and just keep it like tight to like an hour and a half. Or oh, I've got like a 160-page script. Oh, we'll check it out. There aren't really any rules anymore, it seems, to writing, especially since the invention of streaming. A lot of companies and everything else, there are independent movies, Josh, that are on Amazon that are about like 3.5 hours long. They're independent feature films. But then you also have people like very talented filmmakers that are like absolutely like being undercut by the industry in the form of the like Oscars and everything else, like Neil Breen. Who makes very long-winded movies, and I don't know what's worse, sitting through a Neil
like
Breen movie. I don't know what's worse, sitting through 80 minutes of Neil Breen or an hour and a half of a movie that should be good because it was made by such a prolific writer and director, with an extensive library and catalog of amazing films that have really influenced a lot of writers.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think that some of the elder statesmen in film and cinema feel like they can, for lack of a better term, get away with like these huge run times because of who they are? Do you feel like they're sort of immune from the cutting room floor in a lot of cases?
I think so. I honestly, I think so. And actually, a video had a great point. He just said that the story would have been like more beneficial if it was like in a TV format, like episodic. And I agree. I very much agree with that. 100% with what he just said. Now, I do agree with you too. I'm sorry. I will say yes, Josh. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm drinking, beer. Belching. So what I will say is that there are people who are so prolific in the entertainment industry. Like, actually, you know what cracks me up though is didn't Scorsese before say that Netflix is not real cinema?
Probably. That sounds like something
I know he said something. I know he said like superhero movies are not real cinema. It was either him or it was Steven. No, it was I think Steven Spielberg that said something about like Netflix movies should not be up for Academy Awards or something like that, whatever it is. Even though they're part of the Academy. Forget who said what.
If you release in theaters, even for that 1 week,
Oh yeah, you're in there. But no, I think that there are very, very much so. I think that there are people who, because of their names, get away with certain things and have privileges, given to them as far as like run times and everything else, no matter how shitty the movie is.
He's like, my movie's 3 hours long, and the studio's like, what are you going to cut it down to? And he's like, I'll do 3 hours, 27 minutes.
Yeah. I'll shave 5 seconds off the end credits, okay? No, I think that there are very much, and I think Scorsese is one of them where studios like, oh my god, we have Scorsese making another movie. We should, oh yeah, guys, absolutely, let him do his thing. Scorsese comes walking with his walker and everything else, and shooting back his Metamucil. They're like, oh, see, this is a seasoned director right here that's still up to, he's got his thumb on the pulse of modern society. We should have him make another movie. Great. That cannot go wrong at all. Here we go. And here we are. No, I think that like between him, Zack Snyder, and, Ovidio, I know you're a huge Batman fan, buddy. I know Ovidio is a massive Batman nut. Nothing bad about that. Not even making fun of him at all, but I'm just, for my point here, I don't think like a 4-hour Justice League movie needed to be done. But it's Zack Snyder, and people clamored for the Snyder cut of the Justice League, and what they got was 4 hours of Zack Snyder's filmmaking. It wasn't needed.
Nope.
It really, especially, yeah. If they weren't going to go with Zack Snyder at all for anything in the future, it should not have been done. I will actually say Zack Snyder's Justice League, although it was technically episodic, it should have been more so. But you have, but at the same time, you have to think, like, is it the studios that are allowing these directors to go with their full visions, or are the studios the ones that think that this is what people want?
No, I think, well, as we've talked about on the show like many times before, studios are definitely not down for taking risks, especially on new, creators, new writers, new anybody, anything.
I wish the Batman went the HBO route. I agree with you, Video. I'm sorry. Video said, I wish the Batman went the HBO route. Like, absolutely. Penguin is going. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Josh.
So I was just saying, when a studio sees that Scorsese wants to make a picture, to them, that's like money in the bank, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, just let him go. Unfortunately, well, we won't know what the numbers are until, after the weekend's done. But it is kind of a hard sell considering everything except, director and, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's not exactly a mainstream kind of movie to begin with. The runtime's way out there. It's going to be, and yet at the same time, we'll see criticism over the Marvel's runtime. It's what, like 87, 97, something. It's like right around 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And some people are saying that's not long enough. How are you going to tell this blah blah blah? It's like, no. In a world where runtimes are kind of getting a little out of hand in some cases, maybe it'll be good to just get in, get out, and have your popcorn movie just be what it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have this list broken down here. I've been doing this while you've been talking, and while I've been also talking too. I've actually made an itemized talking point on the strike, just to try to inform people as to what exactly was requested and what was actually obtained by the striking. But you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So basically, there was when the strike ended, it was 140 some odd days, almost 150 days that there was a strike. It was a long strike. Again, it was a stranglehold on any new projects that were coming out. We discussed before with Deadpool 3 how because of the strike they were forced to go strictly off the script. That's how they were able to keep filming. There was no improvisation, no nothing. It was what is on the page is what you're going to say. Deliver it however you want to. That's what the script says. That's what we're going to do because we cannot do anything else. And so, whatever.
I think we're going to have reshoots and ADR for that.
Oh, I have no doubt, man. I have no doubt. Like, you can't watch
actor strike ends.
Yeah. You can't have a Deadpool movie and have Ryan Reynolds just going off of just exactly on the script. Like, there's so many takes that they do. But so first off, the 3-year deal, it pretty much outlines a 12.5% pay increase, starting with the 5% upon the contract's ratification. For the following 2 years, writers will receive 4% and 3.5% increases in the respective years. Now, before the strike happened, the WGA asked the AMPTP, or the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, for a 16% raise over 3 years, and they pretty much were told, no, not going to happen. Now, they got it. They got these raises. But writers also secured 76% increase in foreign streaming residuals. According to WGA, this will increase their residuals from Netflix from $18,000 some odd dollars to the $32,000. The aforementioned thing I said earlier, $32,830 for a single hour-long episode. writers will also receive a viewership-based streaming bonus, which is awesome. That means pretty much however many people are, so if it meets a certain level in the streaming quota, there's a bonus involved. That's really cool. So pretty much between $9,000 and $40,500, depending on the length of the show or the streaming feature, has a budget of over $30 million. Now, to track the viewership, the AMPTP agreed to share the total number of hours streamed domestically and internationally, as long as it remained confidential between the two sides. The information is going to be shared with union members, but only in an aggregated form. It's not going to be en masse, here's everything that we have and full transparency, but there's enough transparency. Oh, go ahead.
It sounds like it's more of a these are the numbers that affect you, so this is what we're going to tell you.
Yes, yeah, and that's exactly it. And really, it's the writer's business is just what they wrote. That's it. So I do agree with that. The transparency is there for the person that needs that transparency. That's all they give a shit about. So as long as it goes that way with other writers and everything, on all sides and everything else as well, then I'm great with it. That's amazing. I really need to start
episode 5 of season 12 of Cobra Kai. And that's all I really need information on.
Yeah, I really need to get back into the WGA, man. Well, I kind of want to, and I kind of don't want to. I just kind of want to for the perks of a cheaper movie ticket, I guess. Just to oh yeah, I'm in the WGA. Anyway, so the here we go. The okay, yeah. So they went back on the mandatory staffing requirements they previously rebuked. According to the union, studios must hire at least 3 writers, producers, including the showrunner, for a guaranteed 10 consecutive week of work during the development of series, also called development rooms. For those of you guys who don't know what those are, these rooms are just they're messy, lots of paper, lots of pacing and everything else. It is it's really cool though. It's a rush, but it's really awesome. But yeah, it's there's nothing fancy about these things. It's usually people wearing t-shirts and shorts or whatever, just walk around flip flops and just trying to figure things out. You would never know these are filmmaking heavy hitters in these rooms. So once projects are greenlit, the minimum of writers increases to 5 once the series reaches 7 episodes. Teams working on shows with 13 or more episodes will receive another writer. The WGA dubbed this facet of the production as post greenlighting rooms. These projects come with at least 20 weeks of guaranteed work, or the post greenlit room duration, whichever is shorter. Here we go. One of the final sticking points that led to the historic strike stemmed from implementing artificial technology, which was a big thing. These guys the studios really thought that AI was going to do something for screenwriting. They really thought that this was going to be the next big step for screenwriting. Anything they could to cut people out, they wanted to do it, and it was just going to come. It's never going to work. That would never work. So both sides have established a set of guidelines regarding the use of AI in NBA covered productions. First, AI cannot write or rewrite any literary material, and AI generated material cannot be considered source material under this current deal, which is great. The WGA said this would prevent the material from undermining credits or other rights granted to writers. However, the rules do not bar writers from using AI to help them with their work if the company allows it and if they follow its policies. The studios cannot require a writer to use AI software at all. So it's pretty much oh, well, I'm feeling a little stuck on this, so I'm just going, hey, chat GTP, let me just go ahead and see what's going on here and see if you can give me you know what? My AI is very simple when I go writing. Very simple. This fucker right here. There's my 1 per episode. That is my AI. That Magic 8 Ball has got me out of all kinds of jams in the script. And 2 of my...
Can you give me 16 alt lines for "You slept with my husband. I hate you, you slut"?
I'll tell you right now, dude. I've got a script that's sold. I have 2 that were optioned. And I have 2, one of the same ones that was optioned also won awards, and another one won some awards too. Every one of those scripts, this right here came into play. If it wasn't this, it was, I don't know where it is right now, but if it was not from this, I also had, a video. I'm sure you remember this very well, but it was mandatory reading for screenwriting back in college, Ben. I had the Screenwriter's Bible cracked open. I didn't have That's not the way it works. I didn't have like what was it, Save the Cat or Skin the Cat, whatever the hell it should be called. It should be called Skin the Cat because it's like such a bad source for anything. But I will say that I didn't have That's Not the Way It Works or whatever the hell that book is called that everyone seems to be praising. It's not that one. I had that, and I had David Trottier's Screenwriter Bible, the 8-Ball, and the Screenwriter's Bible. That's how I got through a lot of my points where I got stuck in screenwriting. There was no AI. So if I guess like up and coming writers are going to use AI for some things, I can get where they could use it, like a rough idea for an outline for the rest of their scripts. I kind of get that one, but I still think that kind of takes away the process of just, coming up with something better than what AI could provide you.
I would think it would just be nice to be able to, take a picture of all of my notes and say, make sense of this.
Oh, dude. I don't think you when we were writing Extra Life back in the day, did you ever see my apartment?
No.
No?
You
okay.
didn't invite me to your place.
Well, I mean, we also lived on polar upsides of LA County. Oh, yeah, LA County. Jesus. Duval County. Oh, man. It's almost like driving across LA County.
Anywhere you've lived.
Oh, okay. Well,
like this image of you is the closest I've ever been inside a place you live.
Buddy, you know how like you have like relatives that come over and crash at your house? You have friends that come over and crash at your house and stuff like that?
No,
I don't
know. It doesn't happen.
No, I'm just saying it's like I have crashed over at my buddy Ryan's house, like a mutual friend of mine my videos. I've crashed at his house a few times, hung out with these guys and everything else. So yeah, I've crashed at Ryan's house. And Ryan has like once or twice, like when I lived in Torrance, he would crash over at my place. But I
touch your feet.
I cannot think. He did cuddle with me, and like, I woke up to him like cuddling. I'm like, "Hi, Ryan." He was awake. He was just doing it to wake me up. But either way, I will say this though: it's one of those deals where having Samantha, my baby sister, sleeping over at my apartment, and of all things, on an air mattress in my office. I can't think of the last time I had a family member at all ever stay overnight at my place. This is the first time I've even had a sleepover at my place in.
Oh, you're having a sleepover.
Ever. Well, it's not just Samantha. It's also, my sister-in-law that's here too, Nicole. So it's just like, it's really, there's more than just one person. So it's not that it's bad. Like, it's great seeing the girls. I love them. But it's just like one of those deals where, just, I'm not used to having people in my office. Like, I was like, oh, I want to go work on a script last night. I'm going to go to the office and work on something. I was like, oh shit, I can't. Like, I took like the Nintendo Wii that I have all my old school games hooked into. Brought that in the living room last night so I could like play games while everyone else was sleeping. I realized I left my damn Wii remote in here, along with my classic controllers and like the nunchuck that comes with it. I couldn't even get to that because they're in here sleeping. I'm like, well, shit, okay. I'll suffer for the night. And suffer I did. So
suffer you shall.
Listen, man, we're millennials living in the modern day society. We have been suffering for the last 40 years.
We invented modern day society.
Yes. Well, no.
Sorry.
There are some things we didn't have any hand in.
Most things we didn't have any hand in. But we certainly mastered how to use it.
We created some of the awesome shit and some of the not so awesome shit like Facebook. So, but yeah, either way. The front door is going off. I do have to get going. My sister is here. So, but I did cover my talking points. I broke it down like I said I would. But what I will say is next week we will have a longer show. This is just kind of like a weird week to have our first show after a while. Our next show is not going to be 45 minutes. We're actually going to have some time to talk.
You better be glad I'm here tonight because, sir.
You better be glad I'm here tonight. How's that feel?
Iglesias is in town. And
oh, fuck him. Oh, that's too shit. Fuck. Oh, that's.
I could have been seeing Gabriel Iglesias.
I just rapid fired 3 F-bombs on this. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. and mute. No, I'm going to get going. By the way, everyone, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Please be safe. I'll be posting pictures of me and my baby sister, like showing her and her wife around like Santa Monica tomorrow, and hopefully take him down to West Hollywood so I can see the Hollywood sign, because that's what Nicole really wants to see, is a Hollywood sign, a good, beer side of it. So yeah, I'm going to end my end here. If you want to follow me on Instagram, bjacksman1982. Twitter, I don't remember. I think it's like the Brandon Junk. Well, I'm sorry, X. If you whatever. The Brandon Junk. I never post on there. I just kind of troll a few feeds. But yeah, I make jokes about if you want to send me a friend request, it's just Brandon Junk. But please stop sending me friend requests. I've got about like 1,000 in the queue right now. So I mean, I appreciate it.
Friend request, but don't do that.
I was joking when I even said I even give everyone the same disclaimer saying I never check my friend requests.
Don't do that.
I went to go check my friend requests the other day. I've got like 1,000 friend requests. I'm like, I don't. It's great that we have listeners. I love that we have listeners. It's cool. I don't expect this all came from one episode. I think it came from like the last like 2 years where I've been saying this. But yeah, please stop.
You're not even saying anything about the lighting change.
Oh, your mood lighting?
That's production right there, fool.
Oh, okay. Well, here, let me see if I can get on this stuff. Interrogation lighting.
Where were you last Wednesday night?
Zack Snyder lighting.
Zack Snyder frame rate.
Oh yeah, frame rate like.
Yeah, it's not fun to listen to at all.
What you can see is I'm going in slow motion here. He said Zack Snyder frame rate, so it's like I can't really speak while I'm doing
slow
it.
Motion.
Yeah, this is listen, if you're listening to this, then what just happened is a you had to be here moment, okay? That's my entire life, just a whole bunch of you had to be there moments. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Everyone follow the WADcast on Instagram, and on Facebook the same thing. Facebook.com/the WADcast, Instagram.com/the WADcast. Profile picture is me and Josh hanging out with the WADcast symbol behind us. Go give us a follow, give us a like, say hi. And that's about it. Everyone have a great Friday night. Have a great weekend. Please be safe. Don't do anything stupid. And Josh, go ahead.
I just saw this notification on our streaming, platform.
Okay.
And it said video backgrounds are now supported.
Okay, so what we can have like a video
the Hollywood Hills,
background?
Behind us, whatever the hell they're called. It could be in motion of some kind.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, that's
we
cool.
got to work on that. Even if it's just like how the old DVD screensavers just have that behind us popping off the whole time.
Well, I think that would actually be hysterical if we had like a screensaver in the background, like it was like just like the DVD thing just like bouncing around the corners the entire time. I think honestly, no, that would just distract me from the show. I'd be like waiting for it to hit that perfect corner. All right, either way, I got to go, guys. Everyone, I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Have a great night. Josh, love you. I'll give you a call later on, okay?
Get out.
All right, bye.
All right, kids, now it's our turn. Well, all of those things Brandon said, I guess keep them in mind, take it to heart. And sure, if you want to remember all that stuff he said, I guess that's fine. But if you want a shortcut, if you want to be able to, not have to remember all that stuff, just go to wadcomedia.com, bookmark it, and it'll have all the convenient links that you can click to the social medias, whether they're for me, whether they're for Brandon or anybody else really associated with the show. And hit all of the like buttons on social media, and that way you get alerted when we have stuff. And who loves stuff? Everybody. That's what we're here for. We're here for stuff, content. Last night we did, Jen and I did another wonderful episode of 10 to 1. That's the internet's favorite movie-centric list-making podcast. It was all about one-liners. So in a very fun, very enjoyable show. Check that out as we bring that to you each and every week, just like we bring the WADcast each and every week. But even though the writers are back to work, now is not the time to just sort of roll over and let the actors just fall to the wayside. No, instead of the usual inspirational message, we are sticking to the fact that the actors are still on strike. We have to support the actors now. We need to make sure that if you are a working actor, that they that you, the working actors, need to uh, be able to have these producers listen to what you're asking for and then follow through in hopefully a way that is mm, I'm struggling to find a word here because I want to say that makes everybody happy, but in a negotiation, nobody should walk away totally happy. But the idea is things need to improve. Whether they improve by a little bit or improve by a lot, things just have to change. So support the actors. There hasn't been a graphic updated, so I'm just going to go put up the one that we've been using. If I can find it. There we go. SAGafterstrike.org, entertainmentcommunity.org. Lend your voice, lend your cash if you have the ability to do so. Lend your time. Just make sure that if you support what's going on, you make it known that you support what's going on. It worked for the writers. Let's hope that very soon it'll work for the actors, and then everybody can get back to work and create the wonderful things that we all enjoy watching. So, with that being said, this has been the WADcast episode number 148. Coming at you from coast to coast, LA to Jacksonville. I'm Josh. Enjoyed being here with you today. And I guess the only thing left to do is say bye, everybody. And we will see you next time for episode number 149 on the WADcast. Whew.